Everybody look up, watch out. It's Keep Up with your boy Still Insane. We are on episode 13 of Keep Up Live. Keep Up has been around for over 200 episodes. If you were trying to count, real friends don't count, or friends that count don't count, whatever you want to say. I have new streaming homes, or some of the same, but I had to prioritize. Give you a quick little story. On Instagram, I have a really conservative friend who I consider a racist, to be honest, but, don't want to go too deep. He might try to sue me for defamation. Real friends don't sue each other, but real friends do that these days. I don't have a new setup, but I have a new background or new angle of the setup. I had my laptop back. Before, I was streaming on my desktop and from a webcam, and to be honest, it wasn't the same quality. I could be using my mic, but I did not do that this time. But it's all good. We're hopping back in. Anybody that's ever seen the Joel Schumacher Batman Forever, that is the point of this episode. It's not to go with the algorithm. Shout out to Mark Climaco. He has tried to get me to do a formulaic approach. And I said to myself, I'm going to be Still Insane forever. So why do that? Why do that? I want to be the algorithm. If you're into sports, when James Harden said, I don't need to play in a system, I end the system. So as cocky as that may be, that's how I feel about the situation. So right now we are on live. We are on YouTube Live. We are on Twitch Live. And we are on Keep Up Live on Instagram. And the reason why I can't do it on Still Insane is because I made stickers on our private chat. And one of them, like I said, I think he's a racist. So I put one is like the Aryan flag. And I would put it there whenever he said something racist. And Meta and his broligarch, Mark Zuckerberg, they deemed that, and their new community note strategy, they deemed that impermissible. So they suspended my live privileges until I think May. Oh, and I tried to appeal, but they haven't answered. So I will be doing my live from Keep Up. You can catch the audio recordings, which I'm going to edit after the live recording. Why is this happening? People, oh man, got to turn that off. Okay. And so, yeah, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. We had a coverage of the election. I dug deep. I voted for Kamala Harris. That's another thing. Some people told me not to be so political. I had a co-host that didn't want to be political, and I didn't want to interfere with that. So here I am solo again, and probably for the future, we will have guests one day. Who is this? Hey, Oscar! Yo! That's another thing. I hate Fortnite. Hate Fortnite. That is a terrible game. Not into first-person shooters to begin with. But I will try to join my boy soon. And he's answering me from Twitch. That's awesome. Great. Trying to broadcast there from now on. Great. And he used to be a former host. He was a wonderful partner on the show. So back to Josh. Yeah, I got suspended. I'm in Facebook jail for calling him a racist. So you could call people of the trans generation, you could call them mentally ill. You could say he has said all types of things about Palestinians. He has called them sand niggers, all the type of stuff. And I don't think he's gotten suspended for that. But he has gotten suspended a lot, though. So and he probably hasn't told the truth about how much he's been suspended. So whatever. But on that same so this episode is going to have two topics. It's going to have the Ukraine Oval Office debacle that has been all over the airwaves. And I saw clips at first, and then I saw the whole video of how it transpired. If you see the whole video, if you want to see the protein, which is something I coined from our orange president, I've said this on the show before, John Bolton used to be his head of national security. And he said that briefs he's been under administrations like Bush and Bush Jr. And they used to give very, very in-depth security briefings and daily briefings and multiple briefings throughout the day. Obama, it's been happening for such a long time. I don't know when it started. I think it started around like Nixon time or something like that. And from then on, presidents have gotten very, very thorough and many briefings. But when Trump was in office, he decided that briefings, he called it the protein. He go like, if you were, rambling on like I am, he would say, all right, get to the protein. And as much as I hate the dude, that sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to be like, yo, wrap it up, B. Where's the meat and potatoes of this? Pause. I'm not gonna say that too often. That's shout out to Cameron and Mace for doing their thing on It Is What It Is. Oh my God, the co-host on there. What's her name? Treasure Wilson. Oh, woo. One day I will be able to afford a moderator host, a in between. Molly Curran, who's the girl that just got Oscar probably knows this, the one that got in trouble with Skip Bayless. Woo, that died down a little bit. Smart of her not to say nothing, because that's usually what you have to do. James Franco, all these people that get into trouble, just don't say anything. Just let it play out. Say nothing. Like, even when you defend yourself, I'm a big Jay-Z fan. When he defended himself, he looked bad. He looked bad, saying, oh, this is bad for my daughter, this and that, in the countersuit. Whatever. I haven't been in trouble like that. Hopefully never. So I don't know how that goes. But to give you a sense of what happened, here we go. Russia, Ukraine. Let's dive into that. So, like I said, Barry, he tried to put sanctions. The next administration took off the sanctions. That's another reason why people have built up a case of why he is part of that regime, why they call him a lapdog, why they call him a Russian asset, because he is always sympathizing with the communist regime. And on their counterpart, they think that it is diplomacy. You can't keep icing them out. You can't keep treating them like a pariah, like most administrations have done, starting with Ronald Reagan, within Gorbachev. And since the USSR disbanded, Putin has tried to get that back. And so he has started with Ukraine. He has gone as far as saying Ukraine is not even a real country. It's basically Russia. So this next interference and this next invasion after 2014 happened in around 2020 or 2021. They invaded the Donbass region because in his mind, he felt that there was enough Russians there to go saving. And that happened under the Biden administration. And then fast forward to now, we have given over $150 billion in aid packages and weapons and loan assets, from taking Russian assets and turning them into repayment for the loans for the money that we have given, around like 70 billion. And then, it's all over the place. If you want to see the interview, they go over the math in there in the Oval Office before it goes haywire. And so JD Vance, and actually, let's give another picture. The new White House, the new Oval Office, they now, just like Russia and North Korea and other places with not much free speech. But again, their counter argument is these places need a chance to. So I guess he's kind of like democratizing, or he's rotating. But usually a bipartisan group picks these outlets like CNN, Fox News, Huffington Post, New York Times, NPR. But again, most of the ones I just said were liberal leaning. And so there are new ones like Newsmax, OHAN, the One America Network or something like that. A bunch of new wave independent journalists. I don't know if Al Jazeera's ever been in there. I don't know if the Guardian's ever been in there. I'm not that abreast on that part. But he is letting in more conservative news organizations. And that's not the issue. It's that some of them are just really blowhards for the orange guy. And so they say things that he would say, or they say things that would appease him, or they ask questions. And that's the reason why I think he's doing it. I don't think he's doing it to how he's spinning it with the new White House communications. That's another story. She's crazy. We'll get to that one day. But their excuse is that they're trying to give people a chance. My theory is he is trying to get people that are in love with him and that won't try to fact check him in real time. And so the opposite of that, he had somebody that was pressing Vladimir Zelenskyy. So he was in the Oval Office recently to go over a minerals deal. And if you watch the presser, Trump just kept saying rare earth, raw earth. And it was raw earth materials like cobalt, things that go into cell phones, lithium, all those type of things. We go into Africa we usually go into other countries. As a matter of fact, if you saw the soundtrack to the coup d'etat, the new one of the documentary features in the Academy Awards, the atom bomb, which obviously took out Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we got most of our uranium from the Congo when it was in transition of being in power from the Belgian king. And so that was nasty. But Winston Churchill and FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, they made sure that happened, made sure that was an option, made sure that was a secret. So we're trying to do that too with Ukraine, and Ukraine has its back against the wall. It's also getting funded from Europe and NATO, the Northern Alliance Treaty Organization, or I think that's what it's called. And of course, Putin has been against NATO from the jump because that's a thing that keeps him from expanding and trying to regain the USSR and trying to make everything part of Russia again. Finland, Yugoslavia, I can't name them all, Sweden, all these places are defended by the NATO treaty, and Europe and America, so that they don't so that the Cold War isn't a waste of time. And I'm not a big Reagan fan, but if you believe in the Red Scare, he stopped them from becoming a superpower over us or being as strong as us, whether it's in space, whether it's in Hollywood, whether it's in the Olympics. It's a dirty game out there. And if you are a Star Wars fan, I remember somebody blew my mind when they said that Star Trek was for the communists and Star Wars was for the capitalists. And damn. And that couldn't be more true. And America is the evil empire. We're always trying to expand. As a matter of fact, we're trying to expand now. We're being disrespectful and calling Canada a 51st state. We're trying to re-seize the Panama Canal. We're trying to make Greenland a territory so that I think that's another guy's trying to make it seem like, oh, it's a strategy against Russia. No, strategy against Russia is to ice them out, is to make sure that they're poor so that they can't try to invade other countries. Just like they accused Iran for the Hamas attacks, the Hamas October 7th attacks. That was his logic too. He said the same thing in the Oval Office, Donald Trump, con man, felony number 47. Can't believe we have a guy with 47 felonies or over 30 felonies occupying the White House. But hey, that's cool because now we can all run. Some of us might not be able to vote, but now we can run for president. So I don't have any felonies, by the way. But his logic was when sanctions, and I don't even know if sanctions were relaxed. I know that we were in the Iran deal that Obama, that was one of his signature packages that the Trump administration exited in their administration. So I'm not too familiar if we lifted any sanctions after that. I don't think so. I don't think Biden did that. But he's accusing him of that. And he is saying that we are the reason why they got more money for arms, and they were able to filtrate money over to organized groups like the Houthis and the Hamas and ISIS and all these places in Lebanon, Hezbollah. So a lot of people feel that those are money funneled from Iran, but we don't really have a leg to stand on with that because we do the same thing. CIA, I just mentioned the soundtrack to the coup d'etat. the word jackal comes from us. We have gone to Latin America. We've gone to so many countries and dismantled their governments and tried to put leaders in place that we endorse, basically like puppet masters, basically making sure that they promote democracy. And we're a constitutional republic. We're not even a real democracy either. Our system is a combination of the Greek Senate and the parliamentary system. And it's not, and our representatives vote for the executive branch, and the executive branch puts in the Supreme Court, and Congress makes our laws, and there's veto powers, all that good stuff. That's very unique. And they all follow the Constitution, no matter what. Maybe not so much this administration, but most administrations, they try to follow the Constitution. And so, like I said, there's a lot of contradictory stuff going on. And back to Vladimir Zelenskyy, again, he has been trying to set up funding and trying to stave off elimination from Russia. And they have seized about 1/5 of their territory, unfortunately, for Ukraine. And Russia said that they were going to end this war in 3 days. They did not. And it's been going on for a while. So there's a lot of perspectives on this. Russia looks weak at the same time because they said that it would end in 3 days, and it's been going on for years. But at the same token, slowly but surely, they are winning the war. Ukraine is doing a great job because comparatively, they are way less capable and way smaller than Russia, but they have received a lot of international help. But so is Russia. Russia is in line with China and North Korea. They have sent in soldiers secretively and not secretively. North Korea is not secret. China more so is secret. They don't like to look like that they're supporting anybody. But if push came to shove, Xi Jinping, he would say that he supports Vladimir Putin. As a matter of fact, he didn't, the Syrian leader, the one that just got exiled, he didn't run to China, but he ran to Russia. They all help each other out. What a coincidence. So in the Oval Office, there was a minerals deal going down. We wanted to recoup some of the money that we gave to Ukraine, and we thought a good idea was to do it through a mineral exchange. A lot of people like that idea, and Zelenskyy supposedly offered that. And but he wanted assurances. He wanted to make sure that Russia didn't invade again. I would want that too. Not trying to put my 2 cents, which that is the part of the show. Keep up. And I thought that was reasonable. But in Trump's mind, the whole reason why he was there, Vladimir Zelenskyy at the Oval Office, was to sign the minerals deal, the rare earth, and very substantial deal. And then that would be a precursor to giving security clearances and making sure that there were boots on the ground from American soldiers, just in case, or peacekeepers. And it just fell apart. One of the journalists asked him why he wasn't wearing a suit. J.D. Vance interfered and said, and I've never seen a vice president talk this much in the Oval Office during, and I didn't even know it was a deal. I thought it was like an announcement. But then Trump started spewing out lots of disinformation, saying when the war started, saying Biden was a terrible leader. He looked into the camera and said that Obama was actually, you know what? Let's show this real quick. Can I even do that? Oh, you know what? I don't know the rights. F it. I don't want my video to be flagged, but I'll probably do something. I'll probably get more of the graphics back in the next show. And so, they started fighting, man. They started like, Zelenskyy asked Vance, like, have you ever been there? He was saying that like everything is like war torn. So to Trump, he said that. He looked in the camera, like I said, and said, Obama gave you sheets. I gave you javelins to take out the tanks. It got really contentious. And Vladimir, some people on the right said that he was being disrespectful because he was litigating the situation in real time. But in my opinion, he was fact-checking him. Like, how are you going to be at the world stage and you tell him that it's basically desecrated the whole land when it's not? Like, Ukraine is a huge country. and saying that like it was all of these administrations' fault. But when Vladimir Zelensky gave a counter to that timeline, that was more accurate. It was more accurate. It was more, and his administration didn't do anything. If you look at the history, it didn't do anything. Not with Ukraine, at least. More with Russia. And that's why a lot of people think he's pro-Russia, because a lot of things he does is to benefit Vladimir Putin and not Vladimir Zelensky. And so to sum it up, Europe has band together now. And that's another thing. He says that the U.S. pays a lot more than Europe, and that is not true. Europe actually has gone in the lead lately because they have delayed lots of payments, and that was another thing that they disputed. So it got so heated that, again, started saying disrespectful things. You don't have the cards. We're not playing cards. This is real life, Vladimir Zelensky said to Trump. JD Vance called him disrespectful, said that, like, we're trying to save your country from destruction. You should be wearing a suit. You should not be declaring. All while the new Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, if you look at the video, he's like looking in a stare, in a stupor. And he toed the line, though. Right after it, he was like, it was Zelensky's fault. We told him not to take the bait. How do you, but in my opinion, how do you tell somebody not to take the bait? Like, you were talking to a grown man president, almost 80 years old, and you're saying, don't take the bait. That's your warning. That's your prep. Like, so this guy sucks and he's a little baby, and you have to tell someone else, don't feed into him being a baby in order for you to get this deal done. That's not real diplomacy, in my opinion. And in order to show your strength, I know everybody says show peace through strength. Bowing down to Trump and kissing the ring, or even if it was somebody that, even Obama, like, I don't think that that's necessary. And Marco Rubio said it was their fault, and it got so heated that they had to end the press conference. They also put Ukraine in another room and then told them to leave. Zelensky's team supposedly wanted to re-engage, and Trump said no. But I do think the deal is going to get done. And I do think a lot of this, I don't think it's staged. I do think that they set him up, which, again, the right says that Ukraine set them up. I don't know if that happened. I don't know if they're that, mischievous or that intricate in that department. I'm not saying Ukrainians are not smart. They definitely are. But I don't think that they conjured up that. But, I live in a country where people believe in the deep state. So, he had to leave. And without the deal, I do think that deal is going to get done. That benefits both the countries for sure. And I do think that United States is going to be involved with securing against Russia. I just think that, and that's why the Constitution is great if you're white and male, mostly. But as far as defeating and keeping contained tyranny, like a monarchy or something like that, and making sure the executive branch doesn't expand too hard, which he is trying to do. And I only learned that recently, which is called an imperial president, which is funny because he supports imperialism to the hardest form and authoritarians and autocrats. And the first imperial president was a liberal Democrat, and that was FDR. That was when he did the New Deal. That was huge because presidents never had that much control over the economy or legislation. It was mostly Congress. Congress for a long time ruled the land. And so, that was crazy. And so he is, seizing the opportunity to be an imperial president again. Bush, when he went to war, Obama with the Affordable Care Act, those are not things that presidents usually do. Bill Clinton with the crime bill, and with the he got voted down a couple times, though, not the crime bill, but something, of course, right? They all unite when it comes to crime and finance. So that sucked. So again, I think they're going to recoup when it comes. So even though diplomacy, a lot of people think that it's a lot of ass kissing, it really is 95% of that. But sometimes stuff like this happens, not usually in the open. Some people tried to spin it and say he was being transparent, Trump and his administration. No, I think that it just went haywire. And I think that, like, he's not used to people calling him out for lying. He got very agitated over that during the election, that my people lost by 2 million votes, the popular vote and the electoral college. in my opinion, 22% of the country voting is really sad. That's why I'm a big fan of conciliatory voting. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Obama's into it too, where it's the law. It's the law. You have to vote. A lot of people think that infringes on their freedom, but I don't think so. I think as a civilian, that is your duty. That is your duty. You have to vote for people who are in office. And so in Australia, they do that. I don't know what other countries do that. I think they're one of the only ones because so many people rely on lesser votes, especially Republicans. The less people vote, the more chances they have to win. And so way less people voted in this election, including for him, but way less for Kamala, because I think Biden got around 81 million votes. I think she got 75 and he got like 77, just around the amount that he got when he lost to Biden. He was like right on par for what he usually gets. And he gained incrementally in grounds that he lost against Biden because she couldn't get that back. And to wrap that up, I think that people are more sexist than they are racist. And on top of that, she was black. And the things that they said to her, that was a big reason why I didn't get back on the air too quickly, because I was really disheartened and I leaned into the election really hard and it really depressed me. And I bounced back. One of my friends, she wouldn't go out. She wouldn't, I was offering her to go outside and she goes, "Oh, I'm too depressed." And I was like, "About what?" And I knew it was about the election, but but it was like a week or two after. And I was like, "Girl, get out of bed. We are going to win and lose a lot of elections. I'm 38 years old. I plan on living another 38 at least." Oh, happy birthday to my cousin Kim. It's her birthday today. She's my fave. She's my homegirl. You rock. Yeah, I'm passionate about politics. I would like to get into politics one day, but it is not a deal breaker. It is, well, maybe in certain instances, but it is not something that like you should end your life over or you should leave a country for or whatever the case may be. Get over it. Get over it. So let's hop into the Oscar coverage. Not Oscar, one of my best friends, but the Oscars that are happening tonight. That's a big reason why we're back. And we will be back every 11 a.m. I'm putting in a new time slot. I got to stop doing that, though, because you guys are not going to come back every time. But here we are. And right now we are on the Oscars or are we on the IMDb? Oh, IMDb. That is a little better, actually. So let's get to Best Picture of the Year first. And we're going to pick live. Why not? I've seen all the films and I was going to lie to you and tell you that I saw 100% of them. There's a documentary that I didn't see, the Elton John with Brandi Carlile. It is the farewell tour documentary for him. That's on Disney Plus. I didn't see The Porcelain War, which has to do with the Ukrainian war, and I did not see No Other Land, which is about a Gazan dealing with the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. He befriends a journalist. I didn't see it, but I read a synopsis of it or a plot summary. And it said that he befriends this Israeli journalist, and they show the perspective of what's going on there. Horrific, to be honest. And for those that are not like super Zionists, people that are living in Israel, people that are of Jewish descent or the repatriated from Europe, they a lot of them side with that, are against the occupation. I know that's not trendy to say. I know that people get barred from universities and stuff and don't get jobs because saying that. So I'm not going to like go too deep, but in my opinion, it is an occupation. And yeah, we're not going to go too deep into that. But anyway, so those two I'm missing. It's called Porcelain War, the No Other Land, and the Elton John. That's all I'm missing. So other than that, I've seen them all. So let's live pick them. Wicked, starring Cynthia Erivo, Grande. Oh, and Jeff Goldblum. Yes, I forgot. He is the Grand Wizard. Great film. Great film. I saw the play. I read the book. It is before all the Wizard of Oz. Did a great job. Great music. Cynthia Erivo was great. So was Ariana Grande. So was my guy from Bridgerton. Do they show the whole cast over here? Yes, they do. Michelle Yeoh, Jonathan Bailey from Bridgerton. Like I said, he's amazing. Great movie. Great movie. I will preface this. I do not like musicals, but this one got me. And in fact, there's 2 musicals in the Best Picture, and we will get to that soon. Oh, I love Lavazza. They must know. The Substance, one of my favorite movies of all of the year. Amazing, amazing. Demi Moore, she was incredible. It is one of the first body horror movies to be nominated. Margaret Qualley was amazing. Dennis Quaid was great. Shout out to Stanley Kubrick. A lot, and that's the reason why I mention it, is because Stanley Kubrick, a lot of the shots, they might even show it in this montage, they copied a lot of shots from Stanley Kubrick, like Clockwork Orange. They used a couple of scenes from The Shining. He's one of the best directors of all time. Space Odyssey. They used a lot of those cut scenes. And I'm not saying he's the first one to do it, but Quentin Tarantino, that's a big style of his. Spike Lee, they use a lot of camera angles from other movies to pay homage to older movies. So this movie is about a fitness video guru, kind of like Richard Simmons or Susan Powter. I know those are probably outdated. I don't really watch workout videos, but she tries to go on the black market to find a de-aging drug. And as you see, she turns into the super fit and super young Margaret Qualley. Demi Moore is a fantastic actor. Love her. I loved her speech at the Golden Globes, saying that she went from a popcorn actor to this. And I like to say actor. I don't like to say actress, but whatever. We're talking about the Academy Awards and their gender binary on this. So she is in that category. Let's move on. Great movie. Anora, another great film, which I think, don't quote me on this, I think was filmed partly on the iPhone, which is another reason why I really enjoyed it. So we have Mickey Madison, loved her. They had to fly and get visas, I believe, for most of the characters because they were playing Russian oligarchs, and they were actually Russian oligarchs, or at least Russian. And so I don't know many of them. There are a lot of newcomers on here. I know that Yura Borisov is nominated for supporting. It was amazing. I loved it. I'll tell you my pick for Best Picture after this, after I name them all, but I thought it was incredible. Kind of a mix of, it's about, let's say real quick, it's a young ex-score from Brooklyn. She meets and impulsively marries the son of a Russian oligarch. Once the news reaches Russia, her fairy tale is threatened as parents set out for New York to get the marriage annulled. So the only thing I had a problem with was the end. It kind of like subjected her, and I'm not going to spoil it, it kind of subjected her to the sex worker vibe. But it was kind of a mix of Cinderella, Pretty Woman, and yeah, it was like a mix of both of those. And so she is a sex worker that gets pulled up by this Russian dude, and his parents are objective to it. And so they come back and try to break it up. But it is a great film. She has a great accent, Brooklyn accent. She really played the part well. She actually carried the movie. I don't think if she didn't make a great, strong performance. She's also from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She's very young. So if she doesn't win Best Actress, unfortunately, she'll have time to go get one. A lot more time than Demi Moore. Conclave. Conclave is starring Ray Fiennes, and it is the inside of picking a pope. It is the behind the scenes of picking a pope. We had John Lithgow, we had Samuel Tucci, and it is a not very corrupt, but the people involved, and it's fictional, of course. I don't think it was based on a real story. Hopefully not. But a lot of mischief happens. A lot of people have to get disqualified, and Ray Fiennes is the manager of this, and he has to make sure that everything goes smooth to pick a pope. The only spoiler I'm going to give you is that there is, actually, I won't spoil it. There is something modern, a wrinkle in there that you don't really expect. But then when you see it, you go, and I don't like saying woke in a negative term, but it's with the times. That's all I have to say on that one. Moving on, we have The Brutalist. And if you don't like long movies, it's brutal, but it is amazing. It's a great movie. I loved it. Wow, 7.6. That's kind of low. Amazing. Even the credits and the end credits, it's very brutal. Brutalist. So if you don't know what Brutalist is, it is a type of architecture that has a minimalist feel. It is right after World War II. So it is after this architect that comes from Hungary. He is a refugee of the Holocaust. Brady Corbett is a great director. He has done other great films. Guy Pearce was amazing. He's his boss in the film. He just goes through a lot. It's almost 4 hours long. It's kind of reminiscent of Oppenheimer. If you are an Oppenheimer fan, you're probably going to pick this to win a lot of awards, including Adrian Brody, who's won for The Pianist. Felicity Jones is amazing. She's a paraplegic in it. She's his wife. Joe Alwyn is awesome. He is one of the, he's the son of, and like a project manager to building a big building for the guy. He's like a politician or like one of those rich Vanderbilts or something like that. Very good movie. Very good movie. This was a great class of movies this year. Dune Part 2, the sequel to the science fiction epic about Paul Atreides unites with the Fremen while on a warpath of revenge against the conspirators who destroyed his family, facing a choice between the love of his life, Zendaya, she's everybody's love, Zendaya, sorry, between the love of his life and the fate of the universe. He endeavors to prevent a terrible future. Shout out to Denis Villeneuve, one of the great directors out there. Love him, love him, love him. Like I said, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson's amazing, Harvey Bardem, Christopher Walken, Austin Butler, Dave Bautista, Florence Pugh, all-star cast, high-budget movie. Happy that it got in theaters this time because last time it was not shelved, but like put into HBO Max. And it did well, but obviously it could have did better in the movie theaters. On to a controversial movie, Amelia Perez. It is about, I wonder if this synopsis is going to give a spoiler. Amelia Perez follows the three remarkable women in Mexico, each pursuing their own happiness. Wow, I didn't even think of it that way. I watched it and it was amazing. So the cartel leader, Amelia, my homegirl, Zoe Saldana. So it's a Russian cartel, not Russia. Whoa. It is a Mexican cartel leader. He hires a lawyer to help him go into hiding because he wants to have a trans surgery. He keeps his Mexican-American wife in the dark and he gains a whole new life. And he tries to reintegrate his life with his former wife, who has kind of moved on. Great movie. Awesome. Again, I do not like musicals, but I thought this was excellent. I'm not going to lie. I kind of died down with the support. Let's name the cast real quick so that we can get into that. The controversy is not that it is a trans movie. Yes, of course, that's always going to be a controversy, unfortunately. But the controversy is with Carla Sofia Garzon. She had some old tweets back in the day. And again, I stopped paying for Twitter, so that's why I can't live stream from there because I don't want to support Musk anymore. Carla Sofia Garzon, she is the trans community. She made fun of Muslims. She made fun of Black people, George Floyd, all that good stuff. And I mean, yeah, we're supposed to be an era of free speech, but we are not in an era or ever was in an era of free of consequences. So yeah, part of the consequences is losing my luster for the movie. So it was already a stretch because it was a musical, not because it was trans, because I don't like musicals. And if I'm going to pick a musical, it has to knock me off my feet. So I had this in the running for a little while. Selena Gomez is in it. Like I said, she is the wife of Amelia, and Zoe is the lawyer. She is trying to make sure that the transition is smooth and that the family is safe from the cartel, because that's a big move. A cartel boss becoming a trans person or trans woman. going from a man to a trans woman. So let's get down to the next movie. Nickel Boys, great movie. Travesty that it is a 7.1. This one was done with single camera. This the winning novel by Colson Whitehead, Nickel Boys, chronicles the powerful friendship between two young African-American men navigating the harrowing trials of a reform school together in Florida. This kid gets picked up in a pimp's car. He is a good student, and the pimp stole the car while he was trying to, what's it called? Not backpack, but you're trying to hitch a ride. And so he gets mixed up in that, and he ends up in a reform school, which is like kind of a guise back in the 70s as a prison. It was basically a prison, and they kept them there longer than they had to, of course, because they were black. And it was done in single camera. Loved it. Strong movie. Definitely in my top 5. Starring Ethan, a lot of newcomers. Not Ajane Ellis Taylor. She is a veteran. She's amazing. A lot of newcomers, Sam Malone, Brandon Wilson, or newcomers in my opinion. Tragic, very sad. If you're not into sad, you might want to avoid it, but it's so good. The ending will definitely flip your mind. I might want to read the book now because of it. Let's get down to Timmy, little Timmy, the complete or a complete unknown. If you don't know who... Oh, wow. It doesn't give a synopsis. Oh, yes, it does. This is about Bob Dylan, Rolling Stone. In 1961, an unknown 19-year-old Bob Dylan arrives in New York with his guitar and forges a relationship with musical icons. That is Joan Baez. I don't know if you know her, but she's a famous folk singer. So that's her, culminating in a groundbreaking performance that reverberates around the world. So it's like basically before this big folk festival, and a lot of people want Bob Dylan to keep singing folk music because he's one of the pioneers in that. There's cameos within what's his name? So Ellie Fanning's in it. Edward Norton plays the famous Pete Seeger. Again, Monica Barbaro, who is nominated for supporting. That was a shock to me, even though she was strong. I didn't think other people felt that way. So back to and then they had Johnny Cash, who was also played by somebody famous. I forgot. But that was awesome. It was great. And Timothée Chalamet, another one, just like Honora, he carried the movie. The movie would have been not shit, but like there was a lot of plot holes and a lot of things missing from it. And Timothy is such a good actor that he filled that up. So he's in my top 3 for the award for Best Actor. Great film. Definitely got to check that out. Definitely reminded me of Rami Malek's performance in the music biopic about Freddie Mercury. So then we have the last one, and I just saw it yesterday. So great as an 8.6. That is strong. Usually, and I'm a big IMDb fan, and I'm a big cinephile. 8.6 is good. And usually Academy Award winning films. So for instance, Honora has a 7.7. This one has an 8.6. So usually Oscar winning films have an 8 and above. This one is a mother forced to reinvent herself when her family's life is shattered by an act of arbitrary violence during the tightening grip of a military dictatorship in Brazil in 1971. They are not kidding. So her husband was a communist congressman. He had to go into exile. He comes back, the military picks him up, and he goes missing. And so this woman is not only trying to find him, trying to keep her family together. They have a huge family. And she also, like they said, reinvent. She has to go get a job. She has to do all types of life-altering things. This movie spans 30 years, and it's pretty sad and pretty devastating, and strong performance by Fernanda Torres. A lot of people said that she is a veteran in the game, and she's been in a lot of stuff. I have not seen it, and I don't know the other ones, but she's a very good-looking family. Brazilians are gorgeous. I've been to Brazil. Everybody's fucking hot. Everybody, even the grandmas, everybody's fucking hot in Brazil. Like, I've been to. I know I got upset over the use of AI. Actually, in general, a lot of people get upset at the use of AI in film. They used AI to for the Hungarian speech. They filtered that through with Felicity Jones and Adrian Brody, which I don't think there's any problem with that. And they did some AI for the singing in, I don't remember what movie it was, but it was in one of these movies. Whatever, AI is here, and technology always advances. You know, some people think that you got the leg up on, I don't know, Technicolor. Just find a way to integrate it and find a way not to lose jobs. And if you have to lose your job, then it's up to you to advance yourself. I'm in fields where I'm constantly having to reinvent myself. And I'm not trying to say like, you know, it just happens. There are people that ride horse carriages. One day that's going to be obsolete. So you just got to prepare yourself. Not trying to give any advice. But the nominees are Adrian Brody, Timothée Chalamet, Coleman Domingo. That's a sleeper. That's a great movie, Sing Sing. And those were actually played by real inmates or former inmates that were in Sing Sing. They produced the movie. They made sure it was like a kind of a communal thing where they all got paid the same amount. And Coleman Domingo is a solid actor. He's gone back-to-back nominations. What's my man's name? Rustin. He was the gay political organizer for Martin Luther King Jr., another strong performance. I would not be surprised if he won. Ralph Fiennes got nominated. And Sebastian Stan, that's another one that I wouldn't be surprised got the nod. He played a young Donald Trump in The Apprentice. I could definitely see that. So let's go to supporting role. That is, I'm going to go with Kieran Culkin. That's definitely going to happen. He has been sweeping the awards. His acceptance speeches has been really funny and poignant. Love him. Big fan. If I had to pick someone that might take it, it would be Jeremy Strong. I think he did a better job than Kieran Culkin in The Real Pain. A Real Pain is about two cousins going to find their heritage in was it Poland or was it? I think it was Poland. And so they have a dynamic. One became successful and has a family. One is less successful and really had a strong relationship with the grandmother. So he's been a mess ever since. And they try to regain their friendship on this trip. Very good. Written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg. He did a fantastic job. But like I said, I think Jeremy Strong from Succession, he played Roy Cohn, the one that was the mentor to Trump before he made the book, The Art of the Deal. He made that, and that to me, that was the best supporting role performance. And I do think Sebastian Stan did a great job. He also did a great job in A Different Man, where he plays a disfigured person who has surgery and fixes that, but it didn't fix his personality. And that's a great movie, too. Moving on to actress in a leading role, Cynthia Erivo, Carla Sofia Garçon, Mickey Madison, Demi Moore, and Fernanda Torres. My pick is Mickey Madison, but like I said, I think she has plenty of time to win, and they usually do that, unfortunately. The Oscars give it to you when you don't deserve it. They do it later on in life. And I think that's why Demi Moore is due. I do think the Golden Globe helped. I don't think she won the SAG award, which is kind of like an indicator of who wins, but that's okay. But I can also see Fernanda Torres winning. So my pick is Mickey Madison. I think Demi Moore is going to win. And if I had a sleeper, it would be Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here, the Brazilian dictatorship movie. Substance, like I said, is the black market drug, trying to become younger. And Mickey Madison, again, is like the pretty woman Cinderella story. I don't think Carla Sofia Garçon had a shot anyway, and I don't think Erivo did either. Great singing. Cynthia Erivo's okay actress. I don't think she's like a marvelous actress. I did love her in Harriet Tubman. I thought she was worthy of that one. I have seen her in other things where I thought she was better, but that's just my opinion. Actor in we had the supporting role. So we have actress in a supporting role. My pick is... I don't think I had a pick. It's weird that Isabella Rossellini got nominated. She was only in the movie for like 8 minutes, but supposedly there's been other people that did that, so whatever. I'm going to pick Monica Barbaro from A Complete Unknown. Who I do think they're going to pick, though, is Felicity Jones for The Brutalist. And the sleeper, I guess, would be Zoe Saldana, and she won the Golden Globe, so it wouldn't be that much of a sleeper. But Monica Barbaro, she's also in an Arnold Schwarzenegger show. I think it's called Fubar or something like that. And she's excellent. She's super hot. But she plays, like I said, she plays Joanne Baez, one of the relationships that Bob Dylan has. And that is it. That is it. I'll mention some other things. I just watched Alien Romulus for a second time. That was my favorite movie last year. That is up for visual effects, so I think that's going to win for that. I think directing is going to probably be the director for The Brutalist, Corbet. Animated a feature film. My pick is The Wild Robot. My second favorite was Flow. I loved all of them, though. Wallace and Gromit. I loved, there was a bunch of them. There was really good ones. The animation was really good this year, but that's my pick. The Wild Robot. I cried. But I could look at it real quick. I didn't want to, but that's it. But thank you, everyone who was on the live. I expect more of an audience for when I actually distribute it on the podcast, on the audio. Thank you for listening to me all these years. We've been doing this since 2017, and I really enjoy doing it. I love being here for you guys. I love talking about pop culture, politics. I'm trying to throw a little sports in here every once in a while, but like I said, I don't want to adhere to the algorithm anymore. I want to be the algorithm. And so I just want to make great content. And if I have a low audience, that's fine. If I have a great audience, if I start getting sponsors one day, that'd be awesome. But it's going to take a lot of work. So let's get you guys on to your Sunday. It's not that nice in New York, but hopefully it's nice somewhere. We had a little bit of summer weather spring weather throughout the week, and now we got bitch slapped with the winter cold again. Shout out to Oscar, my former co-host, and hopefully we'll be doing a Twitch stream soon for his Fortnite game. Love that dude. He could do a better job of seeing me. No, I'm joking. And shout out to Kim, who got the shackles on him. No, I'm joking. Shout out to her. I think her birthday was recently too. She's an impressive woman. She's great. Just got another degree, so shout out to her. Great businesswoman, great mother. Yeah, let's do it. You better shut the fuck up, listen up, and keep up with your boy Sylvan Sane.